One more time for Mr. Ryan Eggold.
All right. Thank you. So cool.
So fun. If I say one more time again, they keep doing it.
Let's do it.
One more time. See? Sheep. You're all sheep. That. Sorry. No, I'm kidding. Ryan, thanks so much for being here, man.
Thank you, guys. This is awesome. Thanks for coming. This is cool.
Congratulations on the show. You now have 2 shows under this banner.
Yes.
That's unbelievable.
I want to get a third one going.
You want to get a third one? What's the Blacklist Reconnaissance?
Even Blacklistier.
Even Blacklistier. I like that one more.
It's gonna be good.
That's catchy.
Yeah.
That's going to land.
I came up with it myself. So.
Sunday nights at 1:30 in the morning. But the Blacklist here. Yeah. So what was it like doing a spinoff? Is it basically the same team, the same writers? Or, I mean, I'd imagine they wanted to take some time off.
It is. It's the same guys. And you would imagine they want to take time off. But I don't know how they do it because they write, they're writing 2 shows at once. I mean, there's 2 different writing staffs for each show, but John Bokenkamp and John Eisendrath are essentially writing 2 shows at the same time right now. So they're mad people who want to torture themselves. I don't know why. But they're great, because they created this world and sort of created this character, and they really have a great sense of what works and what doesn't, and the kind of tone that that's really in their wheelhouse. So they're great guys to do the job.
Now, in one of the last episodes, we saw that Scotty found out that you're her son.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Now, there have been some weird scenes between the 2 of you throughout the season before things were exposed, where it was like, oh, I just wish you knew what was going on right now so you could stop doing this with each other. Stop flirting like this with each other.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of like a Luke and Leia thing before they knew what was going on.
Exactly.
And then as they find out too late,
What was it like? What was it like playing those scenes?
Well, it was fun. We were really trying to figure out how to play that in the beginning because, Tom finds out that she's his mother, but of course, it's the Blacklist world. It's coming from Red. You can never know if it's the truth. And she is, Famke, who's this beautiful woman who he has never met and is told is related to. But it was a funky sort of place to be in, of having absolutely no relationship to her and therefore sort of being open to some kind of weird, sexual thing or whatever was happening in the beginning. But then, of course, coming to grips with trying to, comprehend the fact that this may be your mother.
Now, the Blacklist and Blacklist Redemption are really fast-moving shows, and I'd imagine you make a lot of them in a year for the kind of shows that they are, and they're fairly cinematic. And you guys do you shoot both of them in New York City?
Yeah, both shoot in New York. We shoot Blacklist in Chelsea, and we shoot the new one in Queens.
How difficult of a shoot is that? Because you guys are moving really fast for a good-looking show, and you're shooting not always at studios. You're shooting on the street a lot of the time.
Yeah, the shooting on location in New York City is the most fun because it's New York City and it's so beautiful, and you put a camera on the street and it looks great already. You don't have to do a lot of work. It's a lot of hours and they're long days, and the biggest challenge with television is that you have to shoot so much so fast, and if you could slow down and really take your time, that would be wonderful. And ideally, sometimes, usually, hopefully, you get more time per scene when you're making films. But television really has to move. So sort of the better that you can know the character and just kind of act, instinctually without really thinking about it too much and just get it done. You can be in the right place to still tell the story in the right way and not get bogged down.
Now, in a few minutes, we're going to talk about a film that you've written and directed called Literally Right Before Aaron, starring Justin Long and Kobe Smulders. But that is a sensitive film about a sensitive guy going through a breakup, and you kind of play a tough guy on the Blacklist and the Blacklist Redemption. Yeah. What was it like to get cast as that? Did you ever expect that you would have action chops?
No, and I hope by your question that you're saying that I do. Yes. In which case, thank you. No, it would
be horrible if that question was.
Did you ever think you would have action chops? Because you still do not.
What was going through your head when you took this job, man? No.
Yeah, exactly. No, I don't think too much about career or what. I mean, I just try to do what looks good material-wise, and so I never really thought that I wanted to be on an action show or be action guy. But it's really fun to do, and I think rather I probably thought the opposite, that I would not end up doing the action kinds of material. And it's actually really fun because it kind of takes your brain out of it in a great way. When you're doing a scene with dialogue, you obviously have to be engaged intellectually and emotionally. But when you're doing an action scene, if you're being chased by a guy with a gun, it's just very, gut level instinct is a guy trying to kill you, run. And that kind of basic.
It's a different kind of acting chops as well that you have to bring to that, because if you're not acting believable while also being visceral and chased with a gun, that can come off like he's got a gun. I'm running.
Definitely.
Which I mean, it takes something of an actor to be able to pull those things off believably.
No, definitely, and I'm still learning. I think like everybody, but
and I'm operating under that you do pull those things off.
Yes, no, I appreciate it. Sometimes yes, and sometimes no. When I see this stuff back, and I think the less that you can act, or the less that you can try to show people that you're in pain, or show people that you're in fear or whatever, and just try to be honestly in that situation, then the better it'll come off.
Now the finale, the season finale is tonight, or is it tomorrow night?
It's tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night.
Right?
Sorry, guys.
Crazy.
Excuse me. I know you guys are fans here. What can people expect from the finale tomorrow night?
It's great, man. I don't want to say too much because all I can say is it's a great cliffhanger, and it really does kind of shift the ground. And we've one thing, in the Blacklist, it really takes so long to kind of get certain answers, but we've tried to kind of speed up that process with this show and get to the ends of things and to the truth of the matter faster. And so there's a lot in the last episode.
Are you going to be going back and forth from Redemption to Blacklist, or are you moved over to Redemption now completely?
I don't know yet, and I don't think they know yet. I think we're doing these first 8 episodes of Redemption, and I think we hope that it'll continue and what the future holds, whether Tom's on the new one or the old one or both, I have no idea.
Now I got to ask, Blacklist has the great James Spader in it. You've worked with him for a few seasons now. I had him on this stage for one interview.
Oh, no. What was that like?
You hang on every word he says, and he has such incredible command over that. He knows everybody's doing it.
He does.
Do you get over that after having worked with him for a couple years? Can you treat him like a regular guy, or do you still go like, what are you going to say, James? What's going to come out right now?
What are you saying? What are you doing? Or like he's just all the while slowly reaching for a gun or something that you have no idea. He's just got that thing going on.
He'll tell the most mundane story, but the way that he tells it, I was there.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh.
There's a head back thing that happens.
Yeah.
And there's kind of a chin thing, and it's great. He's awesome. I think, what, I will say that you do have to try to get over that with James or with any actor that you admire that has a long career that you respect. Otherwise, it's just very difficult to work with them. You know what I mean? But you have to find how to relate to them as just a dude, as just a person. Yeah.
We talked about this being sort of your first action show. What was your first credit? What was your first role that you actually got? I know you went to Syracuse, right?
Oh boy, no.
No, you didn't go to Syracuse.
No,
I think that you went to Syracuse.
No, I went to a school in Los Angeles for theater. I got some friends who went to Syracuse, though. It's a great school. Yeah.
Fuck that up.
It's okay. We're not rolling. Let's start over. Can we start over? Are we rolling? No, it's too late.
Either your Wikipedia or the other Wikipedia that I was reading that day that I confused with yours.
Wikipedia. If you read it on the internet, it's probably untrue. But what the heck was I going to say? I remember my first job. I broke out in hives the night before because I was so nervous. I think I had 2 lines or 1 maybe. It was on a show on the then WB called Related. If anyone remembers that, I think Jennifer Esposito was in it. I think I played angry guy in line for coffee. I think was the full name of my
Do you remember what your 2 lines were?
I think it was can you hurry it up, please? Or, something like impatient man who's really thirsty for coffee.
Hey, that's my coffee.
Yeah, and the whole thing was funny because I remember it was in L.A. and I was in traffic on the 405 and I was late to the audition. I remember running in and they had the headshots on the ground of choosing who they were going to hire for the role. And I was like, wait, please, can I read? And I was so flustered from all the traffic that I think it's what got me my 2 lines.
Now, when you get on set for this is your first role, you've got 2 lines. Did you talk to the director at all? Were you like, what do you want me to do? Or were you smart enough in that moment to just be like, tell me where to stand, I'll do it, I don't want to bother anybody?
No, I was quiet as a mouse. I came in, I think I had a line or 2 saying hello to the main actress and did it and got the hell out of there. I just tried my best not to screw it up.
Have you ever been, now that you've been on sets for a long time, have you ever been around with a supporting actor or someone comes on and it's their first gig or an extra and they want to talk to the director or ask questions? Are you the guy that's like, no, don't do that?
Yes. No, 99% of the time, everybody is so lovely and it's wonderful to have people there. But I obviously won't say who, but We had an actor recently who just every single thing. All right, so why don't you start from over there? And he'd be like, okay, but should I start from over there or should I start from over there? And he'd be like, just start from over there. And he'd be like, all right, so why don't you enter on this line? Should I enter on this line or should I enter on that line? And you were like, maybe let's just shoot it and get out of here. It's funny.
But why would I enter on that line?
Yeah,
What exactly why? And it's like, because that's what I want. That's what I like. Just do it.
And like a little bit of that was okay, but after like question number 33, you're like, I think let's just shoot it. Let's just do it. Let's give it a shot.
Let's talk about this is your directorial debut, right?
Yeah,
you wrote and directed this, called Literally Right Before Aaron.
Yeah.
Let's run, we have a clip of it. Let's run a clip of Literally Right Before Aaron. Let's see this.
Hey, did you hear about Alison?
Alison George, your girlfriend of 8 years?
Oh, right. Sure, yeah, Alison, no. What's up?
Alison George is getting married.
Oh, wow, really? Great, for her.
It's crazy, man. You guys were together forever.
Yeah.
You guys were inseparable. Do you remember that? It was like, I thought you guys were never, ever, ever gonna break up, and then you did.
Well,
Do you remember that when you guys broke up?
Yeah, no.
Seriously, you guys had everything. Do you remember that?
Yeah, well, that's a long time ago.
Yeah, not that long ago.
Yeah, it was pretty long ago.
It's like a year and a half.
Ish. Closer to 2.
Year and a half.
Yeah, it was like 2. About 2 years.
I'm sure it's closer to a year.
All right, I don't know how you're so sure of that.
Well, because I remember it. It was like really devastating.
weird that-
Well, I didn't remember her name when you said it, so you had to jog my memory.
So what are you reading?
Nothing. I was just looking at. I don't even know how. I was just browsing.
I'll talk to you later, man.
Yeah. Okay.
Kind of a sadist. Let's hear it, guys.
Those guys are great. It's Malcolm Barrett and Justin Long.
So Justin Long plays a young man whose ex-girlfriend is getting married, and it sends him spiraling into a bit of a breakdown.
Yeah.
Where did this story come from?
You know, it was kind of partly inspired by some real life events, and then you know, just thinking about the finality of marriage and the situation for this character to be in, to sort of, you know, confuse this the idea of this person moving on with all these other things that he's not dealing with in his own life, and sort of make that sort of the answer to all these questions that isn't really the case. I just thought there was a really fun opportunity there for sort of a kind of backwards, funky love story, you know?
There's a lot of intimacy in the film, and even in a scene like that where it's two people who barely know each other, I think you do a really great job of extending these moments with a lot of awkward play between your actors. And I'm wondering how much of that, without asking the cliche, how much of this was improvised. It really feels like you're letting actors play.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, we were just talking about some of the best moments in film are just the most honest moments. They're accidents a lot of the times. They're when somebody's reacting to the director off that has nothing to do with the scene, or you know, different things like that. So I definitely want to encourage as much possibility for accidents and for truthful moments to happen. And yeah, so it was, you know, the movie, we tried to stick with the script, but we absolutely allowed room for a lot of improvisation. And in that scene in particular, a lot of those moments were improvised. And
you can get the sense that they're playing and feeding off of each other.
Yes, yeah, no, there was a great energy to that scene we were shooting. It just because Malcolm just came in and was so funny, and it was one of the first scenes that we had shot where Justin was playing opposite a character who was kind of challenging him in his recollection of the relationship, and so it was new for him in that way, and Malcolm's just a hilarious comedian.
Have you always wanted to write and direct, or was this sort of like, now that you've been acting for a little while, a story occurred to you and you've been around directors enough to be like, oh, I want to give this a shot?
Yeah, I definitely always was interested in it, even if it was kind of subconscious from the back of my head. There's something so wonderful about writing because it just involves the imagination. You don't have to bring in all the difficulties of production and the necessary collaboration that is filmmaking, which ends up making it what it is and is wonderful. But I was always drawn to the simplicity of that and of telling stories. And you know, I made the short film for this, and it was really fun. The thing that surprised me the most was people seeing the short film and telling me that they related to it personally, that they had either been to an ex's wedding and this happened, or that they were invited to a wedding and this happened, or there was this story about the one that got away, or that one person, or I just thought, you know, it surprised me how much everybody could kind of relate to that one person that you end up kind of comparing people to in that, and things like that. So I decided to keep going with it.
Everybody has that moment, no matter how bad whatever relationship was in the past. You're like, well, what if that was me? What if it was me that they were marrying? And is it my fault that they're not marrying me? Because somebody's marrying them.
Right. And just the different ways that your life could go and does go. You know, had you married this person, you would have gone down this path. What if I hadn't spoken to this person? What if I did get that job? What if I didn't get that thing? I mean, just a guy who's kind of completely stunted by sort of all these possibilities of which way is my life supposed to go, you know?
What were your biggest influences going into this film?
You know, definitely Woody Allen, the way that he tackles relationships, and is obviously a paradigm for a movie like this. And Noah Baumbach is a great filmmaker who does the sort of awkward, uncomfortable, humorous, sad kind of place really well. There's definitely a little Mike Nichols in here. The Graduate is a seminal movie, amazing, and we kind of do a little nod to The Graduate at a certain moment in this film, but also got like Rob Reiner, When Harry Met Sally, and those beautiful romantic comedies that are so sweeping and lovely. Nora Ephron and the way that she tackles relationships, and
The romantic comedies that are actually human.
Yeah, exactly.
The actual like human romantic comedy.
Yeah, and I feel like romantic comedies like kind of have a bad rap now, and they're not really generally as great as they used to be. And I feel like they used to be really, really good, you know. And I mean, like The Apartment, you could call a romantic comedy. The Jack Lemmon film, and it won Best Picture, and it's a beautiful, beautiful movie.
It's one of the great movies of all time.
Yeah, it's a great movie. I'm so glad that you know it, because I feel like nobody knows.
It's also an incredibly dark film. Like I
so
think
dark.
What people don't get about the best romantic comedies is that they're also sort of covered in like a layer of darkness a lot of the time. The Graduate, The Apartment, even some of Nora Ephron's stuff. Not You've Got Mail. That's a wonderful movie. It's a piece of candy.
Very
from beginning
colorful,
to end,
beautiful
and I love
movie.
That movie. But the great romantic comedies are really sad in their essence. I mean, James L. Brooks's movies, like Broadcast News. I think a lot of people call that a romantic comedy. I don't necessarily know if it's that, but it's a really dark movie.
But yes, James L. Brooks is fantastic, and when you can tackle humanity, and I'm not saying we pulled it off in this film. That's the aim, but when you can tackle humanity in that way, where there is levity and humor, but you're also discussing things that might be a little darker, a little more sad, or a little more tragic, or some kind of truth that's maybe harder to look at. Those movies are great.
Justin Long is great in the movie. Was there any talk though of casting yourself as the lead? Did you want to cast yourself?
No. There was for a second. We had a thing happen with a certain actor, and there was a quick talk of me playing a supporting role for a second. But I was all too happy to stay on the one side of things and try to get that right. The idea of doing both seems so very challenging, and I take my hat off to those who do it, like Woody Allen or lots of other people. And I think maybe one day would love to try that, but I just want to try this. No.
What have you learned about directing actors since you've been an actor that's been directed by, I mean, because you're on a television show that's been directed by so many directors at this point?
Right, sure. Gosh, it's hard to put into words. I know as an actor what it feels like to receive good direction and what it feels like to receive bad direction. I mean, for me as an actor, the best directors just are paying attention to what the scene needs and to what you're doing or not doing, and willing, you know.
Is good direction something that you can sort of even give an example of, or is good direction usually something that is so specific to the moment? Like oftentimes people will say, never tell an actor faster or something like this, and then other actors will be like, no, that's fine if that's what is required.
I don't think there's rules. I think sometimes if it's, as long as it's not like the last scene where they're holding their dying, brother in their arms and it's like weeping, and then I think that might be not the right opportunity to say, do it
off camera,
cry faster. Yeah. But no, generally practical stuff like that I think is very welcome. Certainly for myself as an actor, I'm always open to just simple, just say it like it is. What does the scene need? What does the story need to be told properly at this point. But you do. I definitely did learn that, one of the schmishmillion things I learned and schmishmillion mistakes I made. You have to be sensitive to everybody because everybody works differently, and you can't necessarily tell one actor the same thing that you tell another actor or tell it to them in the same way, just because everybody needs to hear it a little differently.
You also can't have the same expectations for different actors as well.
Right.
It's one of those weird things when you're directing actors that some actors need a fair amount of explanation as to why they're going to do something and what they need to do, and then another one will just be like, "Where do you want me to go?" It's easy.
Yes, exactly. No, everybody's very, very, very different, and some actors want a lot of direction. They want to be told when and where and how loud and how much and how fast and how little and everything, and other actors want as much space as possible, and they thrive in that environment. So I think part of being a good director, and again, this is me speaking out of my first experience with it, is figuring out what somebody needs and what helps them excel.
What was your biggest challenge directing this?
I think one of the biggest challenges was, or one of the things I never thought would come into the job was realizing that you're kind of at the helm of a big army of folks, and figuring out how to get everybody on the same page and how to be moving forward and everybody doing their best work and all those things. I think I certainly had a naivete that I would be able to show up and just simply translate imagination to reality at the snap of a finger and say, I see it like this in my head, and now go. And then you have...
All of a sudden someone shows up and they're like, do you want her wearing this shirt or this shirt? And do you want them over there? Like,
sure, or the location falls through and you have to go to a location that you don't want to use and the color's all wrong, or whatever it is, and then negotiating all that stuff was just, that was a real challenge, yeah.
How do you keep your spirits up when the compromise is happening on the day-to-day of making a low-budget independent film? Because the compromise is like, it's demoralizing for a lot of directors, especially on a low-budget film. It's hard to stay up and be like, we're still making the best thing ever, except we're not shooting initially where I thought we could because they won't take the money, and we're not shooting there, and we're going to shoot tomorrow.
You have to surround yourself with good folks, some of which are here today over in the corner hiding. Linda, Sean, Alex, and Cassandra, some of my producers. And there will be moments where you're like, oh, it's all falling apart, the train's coming off the tracks, I don't know what to do, and you need really strong producers, level-headed, smart, good folks to keep you on track, sometimes to make decisions for you, sometimes to say, it's going to be okay, give you a pat on the back, whatever it is.
Did you have any breakdown moments while you were shooting your first film? Did you have like a sort of questions of yourself, but not just the compromise of everything, but the thing that's kind of like, I don't know, what did I get into
Why
this
have we done this? There were, we had so little time usually to shoot that I wouldn't have the time to have the breakdown. I'd be like, I'd want to have the breakdown. I'd be like, we've got to shoot this scene, and that's what's going to happen, so we're going to do it, and here we go. But definitely, there were definitely moments where just you get frustrated because a certain thing's not right, or you didn't get the right prop, or the thing that you asked to show up did not show up, or whatever all those little practical things that can go wrong are, and you have 2 hours to do it, and you want it to be perfect, and it isn't, and you're, so there was definitely frustration. That's another thing I will say that I've learned to be a good director. There are some directors I've worked with on Redemption who, I'll just use Andrew McCarthy as an example, who directed episode 6, which was a lovely episode, who's a great director, and he is always...
McCarthy from...
The actor, is a wonderful director and directs a lot of our stuff, and Andrew has the most incredible ability to always be cool, calm, collected, level-headed, and easygoing. Even when things are going wrong, even when they say this actor can't work tomorrow now because of whatever, and so you're going to have to rearrange your whole schedule, whatever it is, that ability is so important, to always just be, to not freak out. Then you hear stories about like David ORussell, who's a phenomenally talented director and certainly a hero of mine, and
who operates only at freaking out.
Exactly, who operates on a different level, and you hear stories about like you see YouTube videos sometimes of people screaming and stuff. So that's a different kind of. I guess that works too, clearly. Because the dude's Oscar nominated, but
I've heard that he's got like multiple cameras rolling at the same time, all handheld, and there's no cutting, and it's not like there's no cutting in the sense where he's quiet and letting it go. He's go more now go, and actors have to be like, what are we even doing at this point?
Right.
And he's like, got it.
I have to think that that's some attempt to take the actor out of their head and out of thinking about what they're doing and out of trying to act or try to craft some performance, because human beings on camera are generally most interesting and at their best when they're not, when they're not thinking, when it's automatic and when it's real.
It's like what you said. It's the mistakes. It's hunting for the mistakes.
Right.
They provide a certain amount of nuance that perfection doesn't.
Yes.
Especially when it comes to storytelling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so funny. I remember seeing some clip on what was it? The Silver Linings Playbook. just jabbing, just shouting, just pushing, prodding. It's cool, man. And clearly every director works differently too. So
let's take some questions from the audience right here. Hey.
Hi, thanks very much for coming. Tom
Yeah.
Keene is one of the more interesting and definitely complicated characters on TV right now. Question going back to the beginning, did you know from moment one that your character was going to be a covert operative? And if you did that factor into how you played it until we, the audience, found out?
right, that's it. Thanks for the question, and thanks for what you said about the character. I did not know where it was going to go, and I don't think the writers knew entirely. They only knew that he would not be what he appeared to be. And I remember doing the audition and being kind of truthfully lukewarm about it, because I was like, okay, he's kind of this husband guy, and it's kind of one note, and we've seen it before, and doing it. And then John and John were in the room, and they gave me these sides that were much darker and kind of more violent, and said, would you take a minute and then read these? And it was a completely different character. So they didn't know, nor did I, exactly where it was going to go, but we knew that we were going to play with it. So that was exciting. And then season one was really exciting because we were all kind of discovering it together and, floating in this direction and then going this direction and trying to play against our own expectations in that way and stuff. So yeah, it was very fun.
Next question.
Hey, Ryan.
Hey, man.
I was an extra in Blacklist Redemption too.
Oh, God. I'm sorry. Redemption?
Yeah.
I'm sorry for you. How was it? Was it okay?
It was a little cold, but it was.
Were you one of the extras that approached the director and tried to have a conversation about
That's
where
right.
you were supposed to go? And
No. But I know you said it's it can be pretty fast-paced shooting a TV show, and do you feel like you get a little more time working on a movie as compared to TV, or have a little more freedom working with the character?
Yeah, I think that's the hope. And thanks for the question. It's on our film, because an independent film, we have so much to shoot. Where I don't think you ever feel like you have enough time. The day where you make a project where you're like, I had exactly as much time as I wanted to get that scene right.
I've never heard a director say
Right?
that.
Has anyone ever said that? That would be an amazing feeling. But yeah, but we definitely made a concerted effort with the film to take more time, especially on more important scenes, and slow down and give ourselves a little bit of cushion to take more time, make some mistakes, and see if any happy accidents came
Oddly,
along.
you know who did say that on the
Yeah.
stage? Was Kenneth Lonergan said that about the scene with Casey Affleck and Michelle Williams in Manchester by
They meet on the street?
Yeah.
He said he had exactly enough time?
He was like, they showed up. We had one camera set up for a wide, and then we moved into a close-up, went to lunch, moved in for the other close-up. And that was the day.
And that was it.
And
that was
everyone
the
was like,
whole day for one scene.
That is true. That was the whole.
Which not everybody gets, which is amazing, though. I'm so jealous that he said
You had
that.
like
I want to murder him.
every day. You had like 5 scenes that you had to pile through. Yeah.
We had a lot. Yeah, but some days we only had a small handful of scenes, which was good. But yeah, I want to get to the Lonergan place where I can spend an entire day on a scene. That sounds amazing.
I think we have time for one more question. Who's got a microphone right there?
Hello. Thank you for
Hey,
being
man.
here.
Yeah,
So,
thank
what were your obstacles that you faced in your career that you learned that resonated with you, that benefited you going forward in your career?
Everybody, I think, faces different obstacles in their life and in their career, and in this business, they're sort of constant, and they're, sometimes humorous and sometimes difficult. I think the most important thing is to realize that. Are you asking from wanting to be an actor point of view, or just no, just for, yeah. I think it's important to realize sometimes that it's not the end of the world, that it's not that serious, and that these obstacles that might be weighing you down or in your way or seem like they're world-ending might not be, and it might be you trying to shift your perspective and figure out how you can kind of work around it, because the industry is what it is, and is not really welcoming, and I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. But if you can kind of figure out that, the best thing I think for any artist, whether you're a writer, or director, or actor, or whatever it may be, is to do your own thing and try to be good at that thing that you do, and try to excel in the way that you want to, and not try to worry about sort of conforming to the idea of sort of, you know, what's expected of you. And I think if you can do that, then I think you'll be in a good place.
Ryan, how can people see Literally Right Before Aaron?
We are going to premiere at Tribeca Film Festival, April 22nd. Yeah, which we're really, thanks a lot. We're very excited. Alex will be there, Cassandra, Sean, and Linda. We will all be there, so please come say hi. There's surprisingly a number of screenings sold out, which is awesome. Really exciting, yeah. But there are still a few tickets, I believe. And if you're in New York and you want to come to Tribeca and check it out, I will be there, and I would love to say hello. And we'd love to have you.
And on top of that, the Blacklist Redemption season finale is tomorrow night at 10 p.m. on NBC, right?
That's right.
Ryan Eggold, thank you so much for being here, Ryan.
Thank you so much for having me, man.